Your world, I'm just passing through here.
We're good, Tina.
Yes, sir. You're good to go.
Thank you. I would like to call to order the general committee meeting for the evening of October 12th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Have acceptance of the agenda. I would like to make an adjustment to the agenda for accepted. I'm going to pull item C, resolution 2021-49, a resolution amending the job classification list and pay tables with respect to payroll coordinator position. And the reason I'm pulling that is after discussion with Mr. Eckenroth and looking back over about the past 3 years of numbers of reclassifications we've done during May, during April, during December, we've kind of done it all over the place. And Jesse is pretty wanting to streamline as much as he can. And after discussion, it was decided I would pull this, bring it back in January or February once our mid-year review was done, and we would look at those classifications in mid-year and reclassifications at budget time, 2 times a year. I think it would streamline. This is nothing against that person holding that position presently. It's just a better way of doing business. So I'm going to pull that for this evening. We need approval of our September 14, 2021 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Waters and Mr. Hayes. Okay. All in favor? I'm also. September 29th, approval of September 29th, 2021 special call minutes.
So moved.
Read this, they're good. Mr. Hayes moved, Mr. Waters seconded. All in favor? It's unanimous. There's that. Ordinance 2021-39, an ordinance concerning retail stores for the sale of alcoholic beverages in the city of Hendersonville. The mayor is sponsoring this ordinance, and he is here to explain why.
I didn't think I was gonna be here, but it worked out that I was. Appreciate
I'm
it.
ready to explain it for you, but get it from you.
We currently restrict the number of liquor stores in Hendersonville, stores that serve packaged liquor. We're not talking about serving it. We're not talking about wine. We're not talking about beer. We're talking about packaged liquor. We have 4 of those. We started with 3 in 1975, I believe it was. We stayed at 3 until after the 2010 census, and we went to 4. About 6-7 years ago, the state changed that situation a little bit and allowed grocery stores to start selling wine. So we used to have 4 stores that sold liquor and 4 stores that sold wine. Now we have 4 stores that sell liquor, and we have probably 12 to 15 that sell wine. What I'm asking is that we change the ratio up to 16,000, 1 liquor store per 16,000 people. Currently it's at 12,000. If we change it to 1 liquor store per 16,000 people, we will remain at 4 liquor stores. Entirely up to the board if we want to remain it. If we want to pass this, we'll remain at 4. If we don't want to pass this, then we'll offer a license for a 5th one, and then the board will decide who gets the 5th one and where.
I move approval. Second.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, can we discuss?
Cunningham.
Mayor, who put the limit at 12,000? Where did that come from? Was that from the city or the state or?
It was from the city. I think it was 1974, 1975. Initially, the limit was 3,000. And so then it went to, I think I have this right, to 6,000, 8,000, 12,000, and 12,000, and then 12,000 as the population of the city of Hendersonville grew. For almost 40 years, the city intentionally kept it at 3 liquor stores. And the reason for that was, going back to the 70s, you had one in the west side of town, east side of town, and the center of town. We quit growing literally. I hope you understand what I'm saying, and started growing to the north. So the board decided that it made sense to have a 4th liquor store for the north, and so that's how we got there. But it's just the board has just changed. I should say the commission, and then the board just kept changing the ratio over time.
I'm curious, do we get very many requests for additional?
We will. So,
But
I haven't had anybody
right
approach
now.
me. I haven't had anybody approach me.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome. Now's the time.
I do know, I'll speak to that a little bit. do know, I know this sounds bad, but I know every person that owns every liquor store in the city. It does really sound bad.
Does sound bad.
Not that-
My fellow Baptist.
not that I'm there all the time, but
Okay.
I know those folks, worked hard establishing their business. I was on the board when we decided on that last liquor store, and that was a pretty hard decision, as many are. But I do know those folks, and I know the mayor has talked to them, because I talked to a couple of them today, that when the state legislator allowed the stores to start selling wine, it cut into their business quite a bit. And not that I would ever want to hinder retail, because retail, wherever you buy that bottle of wine, it's going to pay some tax on it, and we're going to reap benefits from that. But I would just say, those folks definitely don't have any more liquor stores, but trying to look out for them, someone I'd say, upping those numbers is probably good business. It certainly can't hurt us. Like I said, I know all four of them, so not sure what that says, but I think if you want a bottle of wine, you can find it somewhere in about 15 different places in the city. And if you want to drink a little bit harder, then you can, it's around to find. So
I'll argue with anybody that the ratio, the number of liquor stores among the places of wine, I don't think that has anything to do with how much wine or liquor is sold in Hendersonville.
Yeah.
I think the population determines how much liquor or wine is going to be sold in Hendersonville. We offer more places. I think just means that there's more people paying taxes, but it's still the same net tax income at the end of the day.
yeah.
We've already voted on it. Will these small pop drive-in markets, will they have the same opportunity to go for this?
So right now we have four of them. They'll continue. The ones that have the license right now, they'll continue. They'll continue in business. Just we won't have any other ones. If we pass this, we won't have any other ones.
You won't have them both?
We won't have any other ones. We'll stay at four. Now, there are some cities that don't restrict it. I think that's a bad move, and I could point out a couple cities that are adjacent to us where you see some stores that I don't think are quite as high quality. I don't think cooperate with the city as well. Our four owners here cooperate with the city very, very well, and they cooperate with each other very well.
I mean, if we pass this, we'll stay at 4 until we reach the threshold of 16,000,
The next sentence.
64,000.
64,000. So, but that will be next census. So
Earliest would be
we
next
will
census.
probably reach that threshold before next census. So somebody else will probably have an opportunity to change this at that time or go. I mean, it can be changed anytime. So it's on the floor for approval. Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Waters?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Unanimous.
Thank you.
All right. We have ordinance 2021-42, an ordinance amending the budget 2021-22 to appropriate additional funding for the inline hockey rink. I'll move that. To be done.
I'll second it.
Mr. Hayes seconded. To explain what that is, Mr. Gilly, you want to explain it since it's here?
I can.
Probably
Let the
between
project manager explain it if you'd like
And
to.
project manager, if he wants to. I didn't want to interrupt your ball game.
I mean, I can.
Mr. Ackenroth, one of you. explain.
Sure. So this is more of a housekeeping item because the structure that's out there, the steel structure, has a prime surface on it, but it wasn't painted from the factory and it wasn't on the bid specification. So it's not something we included for the contractor to bid on, and therefore they didn't. So in order to protect the structure and to minimize maintenance costs in the future, I am proposing that we paint it now before the fabric gets put on and the rinks get put in. It'd be much more expensive to paint it later. So if we can paint it now, it's a much less expensive process, and we can have a brand new painted surface rather than just a prime.
So we have a
surface.
short window of time to do that,
We have a very short window.
weather wise and job wise.
Correct.
I have a question.
Ms. Cunningham.
We voted unanimously to approve this at capital projects.
I'm curious. I know a majority of it must be the painting, but of the 43,000, how much is the scoreboards and the fencing?
So the 43,000 was the bid that we got for the paint.
Okay.
So we've worked with the contractor to actually moved some things around. We removed some of the concrete sidewalk that wasn't essential, and talked with Trace, and he feels that his guys can do it in-house. It's outside of the kind of the project area. So that removes some money. So there was, I think, about $11,000 for the scoreboards because they were also not on the project.
We're moving them, we're using the scoreboards that we have in place, so we have to put new poles and do installation on them.
So we have to hook up the electrical, install the poles, paint them, have a sign guy come out and install those. So that'll be included as well. And then there's some safety fencing that's going to go in a well. That's additional. There's some X braces that are like a steel cable that are at head height. So we're going to install some fences so that people can't walk and get hurt on them. So that's included in what we can do with this money too. But the 43,000 was based on what it's going to cost us to paint, and it'll leave us a little bit of room for some incidentals that may come up along with the project.
You know they're going to happen.
They are. So,
But you're saying because Trace and our guys can do some of the concrete work, we're saving there, and that money's will put towards
yes, sir.
scoreboards.
It's going to offset it. You're correct.
I hope you've got enough in here. So, this will be a one-time thing, but
What you're saying is don't come back.
no, I didn't say that, but I'm saying,
We're hoping to.
I hope you don't have to. I know you did. And
It's,
you didn't know. And
I was just
yeah,
kidding.
I know. But
Yeah, but if we don't do the painting now, it'd be much more expensive to do it 6 months from now or a year from now when a painter has to work around and mask everything that's there. Right now, they can basically go in without masking
Just,
and spray the whole structure.
just to paint. That's painting. That's a cost of just painting.
Yeah, we're probably hundreds of gallons of paint.
God,
We're actually having to go between 2 manufacturers just to get enough paint out there to paint. So we're picking up 2 different manufacturers just to have enough paint to.
You want
There's
to
with
do
you,
me,
sir.
George?
no, sir. No, sir. Did you say it's a spray? It'll be done with spray, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I can't imagine trying to roll or brush it, but I am very, very excited about the Parks Board announcement and the work that you all are doing for the inline hockey tournament coming up in December. And I know that the timeline is a crunch there, but they're aware of it. I'm just excited. I've been telling everybody, there's possibly going to be players from other countries, but definitely from all over our country coming to Hendersonville to play under this roofed facility. It's just
Yeah, tonight, we'll put it on there.
great news.
Yeah, it's gotta be-
Yes,
it's
sir.
gotta be-
If you do need us to help paint to get this thing done, me and Mr. Waters have volunteered. That might be a problem.
Do you have a deadline on when this is gonna be open and we're gonna be able to enjoy it?
We're supposed to open it by December the 10th.
December of this year?
Yes, sir.
What's your?
We had a good meeting there
Joel?
today.
You're
I
gonna you're gonna be
feel
able to
better about it
skate?
today than I did. on-
Are you gonna be skating?
No, I'm just gonna watch.
All right, any more questions?
No,
Don't want to paint it by hand? Mr.
No,
Hayes?
sir. No, sir.
All
do you
right.
have any paint left over? Can I get it?
Asked him. All in favor?
Ah,
Aye. That's unanimous.
That was quick.
Are you gonna add that to the agenda tonight?
I am.
Okay.
I move we adjourn.
okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Ah.
Thanks, Tina.